We are live now, sir.
Okay. Just a minute. Problem three. Voice is yes. If you can remember this, the intention you should not commit same in examination. Examination question paper, always some twist will be there. Somewhere chance of committing mistake will be high. So where and all the twist will be there, if you can identify, you can be the person to save your 6 months. That is what the object. Okay, Ganesh. Now, with respect to basic concept. The entire costing as a whole, you have to apply some percentage. 10% profit is available in this question. You should be careful. Percentage on what? Yenga apply pannungiradha paakkanum. Clear? Where we have to apply the percentage, that you should be careful. Percentage on what? Always remember, suppose profit to be fine or selling price 10 after adding 10%. 10% on cost or 10% on sales value. It's a frequently asked question. Understood? அப்ப எப்போதுமே கொஸ்டின் என்ன கேட்கறான், some percentage on sales sometime இருக்கும் or some percentage on cost. Clear? So you have to be careful. Percentage on what? That is important. If you are not doing properly, sometimes they lost 10% on cost. So total cost add 10% is equal to sale value will come. Sometimes they'll give 10% on sale value. In the circumstance, you may going to prepare a cost sheet. Total cost will be there. Add profit is equal to sale value. Sales 100 means profit 10, cost 90. Therefore, reverse working you have to do. Are able to follow or not? 90% is equal to total cost, means 10% is how much and 100% is how much. So we have to be careful with respect to 10% 10% like any percent for that matter. On what is important. 1/4 on cost is equal to 1/5 on sales. The same. So whatever percentage is there in the question, we have to apply the percentage on what? You should be careful. Clear? Are you with me? Abraham Santana Lakshmi Purida Kanam. Yes, sir. On to so amount of profit means what profit in this question. Clear? Or previous circumstance, profit is equal to 10%. Company in the revised situation, company wants to maintain same rate of profit. Find the revised selling price. If it is same rate of profit, what to do? You have to identify percentage of profit. Same rating is another percentage of profit. Current situation, what is the profit percentage? 1 lakh is a sales revenue. Profit is equal to 10,000 means 10% on sales. Therefore, revised situation, you have to apply 10% on sale value. Understood? Sales revenue out of which 10% you have to apply. Clear? So whenever they ask you to prepare revised selling price, percentage of profit at same rate of profit they need or same amount of profit they need, we have to identify. Similarly, past exam question in marginal costing is also there. Company's revised situation, company wants to maintain same amount of profit. Amount of profit rate of profit and pathukura. Then the next important issue. Product cost is incurred for each and every product. Product cost each and every product you are going to incur the cost. That cost is called product cost. Clear? Whereas period cost is irrespective of the production quantity you are going to incur. Therefore, product cost is different from period cost. Product cost for the product, period cost for the period. So period cost is different, product cost is different. Understood? So with respect to valuation of inventory, which cost will form part? Only cost alone will form part of valuation of inventory, not period cost.
Recording in progress.
Basic with respect to the basic concepts. Conversion cost and factory cost. With respect to factory cost and the conversion cost definition. What do you mean by factory cost? Cost sheet. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses is equal to prime cost. Add factory or production overhead. Total is equal to factory cost or works cost. In the table, direct material, direct labor, direct expense is equal to prime cost. Add factory or production is equal to factory cost. In the table, if you go to material cost, other than cost, it is called expenses and factory or production overhead. Total is equal to 1. Total is equal to 1 conversion cost. So in conversion cost represent other than material cost. So in conversion cost, material cost does not include. What is mean the definition of the conversion cost? Converting raw material into finished goods is called conversion cost. So what is called conversion cost? Conversion of raw material into finished goods. If I'm going to say converting raw material into finished goods, already raw material cost is there. Clear? Therefore, other than raw material cost is called the conversion cost. So it's there the basic concept itself. Clear? Based on that, cost exam questions are available in labor costing. Location A, location B. Location B follows row 1 system. Location A follows row 1 system. Location B follows wholesale system. Clear? And the conversion cost for location A and location B will be there. We have to identify by of reverse working. Another, conversion cost does not include material cost. Then only you can solve the problem itself. Clear? Next. Many occasions they are asking segregation of semi-variable cost. Clear? On the basis of elements, on the basis of behavior, cost can be clustered into fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable cost. So, semi-variable cost represent one, partly fixed cost and the partly variable cost is called semi-variable cost. Clear? Not fully variable and not fully fixed. Partly fixed and the partly variable is called semi-variable cost. So, variable cost definition is costs which are going to vary depending upon volume of production. Total cost going to vary depending upon volume of production. That is called variable cost. Irrespective of the volume of production, cost remain constant, mean that cost is called fixed cost. Cost partly fixed in nature and the partly variable in nature is called semi-variable cost. So based on behavior, they ask you to prepare segregation, ask you to find segregation of semi-variable cost. First exam questions are there. They'll give the semi-variable cost for situation 1, situation 2. Find fixed cost and variable cost per unit separately. Nothing but what you have to segregate how much is the fixed cost component and how much is the variable cost component. Whenever it is asked you to segregate the semi-variable cost, you know the theory with respect to methods of segregation. That is also frequently asked a 3-mark question. What are all the methods of segregation of semi-variable cost is there? With respect to methods of segregation, graphical method, analytical method, high point, low point method, least square method, comparison method. 5 methods are there, frequently asked 3-mark question. What are all them? Graphical method, analytical method, high point, low point method, least square method, and the comparison method. Sandana Lakshmi note panikiriya? It's a frequently asked direct theory question, 3-mark question. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose practical problem asked. Okay, practical problem also famous question. After giving the data, we have to segregate into variable cost separately and fixed cost separately. If they ask you to segregate, first you should be in the position to know that amount given in this question, data given in this question, is semi-variable cost or not. Understood? How to identify the problem is based on semi-variable cost or not? 2 situations will be there. Am I right? First situation 10,000 total cost. Second situation 10,000 total cost. First situation also 10,000. Second situation also 10,000. Then the cost is called variable cost or fixed cost or semi-variable cost. Money. Anand. Situation 1, 10,000. Situation 2 also 10,000. Then the 10,000, the cost, Abraham, is a fixed cost or variable cost or semi-variable cost? Fixed cost, because it remains same. Yeah, 10,000, 10,000 are there. Clear? But that's not form part of semi-variable cost. It remains constant mean fixed cost. First situation, 100 units they produce for that 10,000. Second situation, 120 they produce for that cost is 12,000. That cost is variable cost or fixed cost or semi-variable cost, Abraham?
Variable cost.
Variable cost. Why? It varies according to the volume of production. Understand logic or not? Third circumstance. First situation, 100 units, 10,000. Second situation, 120 units, 11,000. Then
Semi-variable cost.
It neither 10,000, 10,000 fixed, not proportionately varies. Therefore, partly fixed and partly variable. Proportionate cost cost semi-variable cost. It's supposed to come 12,000. Am I right? For 100 units, 10,000 mean 120 units. It's supposed to be 12,000. If it is less than 12,000, then it is called what? Partly fixed in nature and partly variable in nature. It's a semi-variable cost. So whenever we come across methods of segregation, partly how much is the fixed cost and partly how much is the variable cost. We have to formula variable cost per unit segregation of variable cost. How to identify the variable cost per unit? How to identify variable cost per unit? Change in cost divided by change in number of units is equal to variable cost per unit. First situation, second situation, change in cost 10,000, 11,000. 1,000 is a change in cost. Divided by change in quantity 100 and 120. 20 is a change in quantity. Therefore, 1,000 divided by 20 is equal to variable cost per unit. Got the logic or not? Now? Clear? Then, commonly committed mistake with respect to material. You know, material costing various stock levels. Reorder level, maximum level, minimum level, average level, danger level. First, you should be in the position to remember all the formula. What the formula for reorder level? Maximum into lead time. Formula for maximum level, reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum usage into minimum lead time. Formula for minimum level, reorder level minus average usage into average lead time. Formula for average level, minimum level plus maximum level rolled by 2, or minimum level plus half of the reordering quantity. Danger level formula, minimum usage into minimum lead time, or minimum usage into minimum time for emergency purchase. These are all the various formulas. Right? All the formula usage is that minimum usage, maximum usage, or average usage. That usage represent raw material or finished goods. Usage is raw material or finished goods. It's for usage of raw material, consumption of raw material. Okay, Sridhya. Sorry, usage represent what? Usage of raw material. Clear? So, we have to identify the material related data, because many occasions in past exam question, they have given finished goods data. XYZ Limited produces the product. A product based on produces the product means the finished goods or raw material? Finished goods. But we need to find formulas in various stock level. We need raw material. So you should not take finished goods. You have to take raw material data, or you have to derive raw material to find out setting up of various stock level. Understand logic or not? Next. The next confusion area is average level formula. What is the formula for average level? Minimum level plus maximum level divided by 2 is equal to average level. Or minimum level plus half of the reordering quantity is equal to average. Two different formula, two different answers you will get. Clear? But both answers are correct. Because all that will come only in so, with respect to average level, two different formula. Two different formulas are going to give the two different answers. Both the answers are correct answer only. Understand logic or not? Clear? So any answer minimum maximum level, then minimum plus maximum by 2 is equal to average level quantity, or minimum level plus half of the reordering quantity. So depending upon the availability of the information, any one of the formula you can use it for average level. Are you comfortable? Next, danger level. Similarly, danger level also two different formulas. Minimum usage into minimum time for emergency purchase, or minimum usage into minimum lead time. Sometimes normal or what normal usage also they ask you to take. Clear? But if you are going to use, you'll get two different for answers, up to three different answers. Right? Minimum usage into minimum time for emergency purchase, answer will be different. Minimum usage into minimum lead time, the answer will be different. Or normal usage for the answer will be different. Any one of the answer you can write in the exam. But whenever emergency purchase detail given in this question, that's a lead time, then you have to make use of that formula only, because we are in danger level. If you are in danger level, we have to go by way of normal delivery or rush delivery. Rush delivery wrong, urgent long wrong. Yeah, up emergency purchase information lead time is there, then we have to make use of minimum usage into minimum for emergency purchase. Clear? So you should be in the position to know what is called the lead time index. What do you mean by lead time? Lead time represents time gap between date of order and date of receipt of goods is called lead time. What is called lead time? Time gap between date of order and date of receipt of goods. So there also chance of committing mistake is very high, because lead time data will be there. You have to identify how many days of lead time. There have to identify how much lead time is on. Can you please tell me, 1st January order has been placed. 2nd January, you got the product, delivered the product. They delivered the product. Lead time comes to how many days? Sai Divya. Abraham. 1st January order போட்டிருக்கோம். 2nd January we got the product. Santana Lakshmi. Mani.
What day?
Anand. What, Abraham? Not audible.
1 day, sir.
1 day. Sai. What about your answer? Try.
Day.
January அன்னைக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஜனவரி ஆர்டர் பண்ணிருக்கேன், 2nd January வந்திருக்கு. பெரிய கஷ்டமான கொஸ்டினா. எக்ஸாம்பிள் எப்படி எழுதுவீங்க? லீட் டைம் டேட்ஸ் கொடுத்துருவான். 15th January, 12th February எப்படி கொடுப்பாரு? சந்தான லட்சுமி, லீட் டைம் என்னடா கண்ணா?
1 day, sir.
ஓகே, எல்லாம் என்ன பண்றோம்? 1st January, 2nd January ரெண்டும் சேர்த்து 2 days எடுத்துக்கூடாது. இன்னைக்கு ஆர்டர் பண்ண இங்கிலேருந்து 24 hours. அப்ப next day only they are getting the product. So you have to take only 1 day. அப்ப ordering date and receiving date, both the days you have to add, you have to take, or any one of the date only you have to take. Any one of the date only you have to take. I'll repeat once again. Another example. Santana Lakshmi, can you please try? 1st January we placed the order. 3rd January we got the product. How many days? Lead time. That's all, 2 days. 1st January, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 3 போடக்கூடாது, 2ன்னு போடணும். புரியுதா கண்ணா? So few of them, both the dates they are adding, few of them omitting both the days. Both are not correct. Any one of the day only you have to take. Now got the idea? 1st தேதியிலேருந்து 2nd தேதி ஒரு நாள், 2லேருந்து 3, அப்போ 2 days only you have to take. Because the entire computation is going to get wrong if you don't know how to compute lead time in the examination. So comfortable with respect to lead time? Good. With respect to labor costing, the commonly committed mistake. Labor turnover. What is called turnover? How many of them coming into the office? How many of them going out from the office? Okay, that inflow and out force during a particular time is labor. Okay. Now, with respect to labor turnover, we have to expect the labor turnover in percentage. That is important. Average labor force. Numerator, it may be separation or replacement, that particular numbers. Multiply with 100 so that you can express 5%, 10%, 20%. You have to apply percentage only, you have to express. Then, now recent past I started asking equivalent annual labor turnover. Equivalent annual labor turnover represent what? Equivalently per annum basis you have to rework. That is called equivalent annual labor turnover. So whatever the labor turnover percentage you got it, that you have to convert into per annum. For example, labor turnover for the one particular month given data, based on the given data, 5%. Equivalent annual labor turnover comes to how much? 5% into 12 comes to 60%. The equivalent annual labor turnover. Clear? Whatever the given data, that is for what period, that you have to convert into per annum basis, called equivalent annual labor turnover. Clear? Next. Here also conversion cost, whenever raw material cost is there, that you have to exclude. Basic wages for wholesale system and Roman system always same. Basic wages purely based on time rate system. In examination, just you have to remember 4 formulas with respect to labor for wage system. Time rate system, piece rate system, wholesale system, Roman system. Time system, time taken into the hour. Piece rate system, profit produced into rate per unit. Wholesale system, basic plus bonus. Basic is equal to time taken into rate per hour. Bonus is equal to half of time into rate per hour. 50% of the time. Similarly, system basic plus bonus. Basic is equal to time taken into rate per hour. Bonus is equal to time taken divided by standard time into time saved into rate per hour. Basic is always same because purely based on time rate system. Bonus alone going to vary. Again, many students are getting confusion in examination. Bonus formula. Wholesale bonus they are writing as a Roman, or Roman formula they are applying for the wholesale. You should be careful. Wholesale start with which letter? Wholesale start with which letter? H. H for wholesale, half. Therefore, 50% you have to apply. Half of the time saved applicable only for wholesale. Easier kalyan. Roman start with which letter? Roman R. R is the ratio. Time taken divided by standard time into time saved into 100. Ratio proportion to porama. Therefore, it's a ratio. So that you won't commit the mistake. Only in examination, idla half, bardiyara, bardasana, confusion will come. Clear? So you should be careful. Okay, Sandana Lakshmi, tappan matin mein.
Yes, sir.
Next, wage rate per hour not equal to wage rate per unit. Wage rate nu padipa. Okay, it's applicable even standard costing also. Standard rate per hour is different, standard rate per unit is different. So you should be careful. Rate per hour or rate per unit. In piece rate system, only in piece rate system you have to use rate per unit. All other formulas in standard, all other formulas in labor costing, you have to use rate per hour one. So we have to convert rate per hour into rate per unit or vice versa depending upon the availability of the data. So please be careful. Rate per hour use pannuma alladhu rate per unit use pannuma careful about. Clear? These are all the things you have to remember with respect to labor costing. Are you comfortable? Next palama. Next, commonly committed mistake in overhead area. Overhead என்னெல்லாம் தப்பான chance. First, the base of on the base of direct cost and indirect cost. Easy only. Because in exam, always remember one thing, in examination, nowadays they are not asking explain direct cost. Short notes on indirect cost and easier. Yeah. But nowadays they are asking explain the cost classification based on relationship. Singular, okay, relationship. So on the base of relationship, easy. Cost classification is easy. On the base of relationship, relative direct relative, direct cost or indirect cost. Easy or not? Clear? Element wise, sometimes they'll ask. What are all the elements? I am going to produce a product. To produce a product, I need a material element. I need labor. I need other expenditure. A combination of all only elements. Based on behavior, what about your behavior? Rumba rough or stiff or okay, or flexible or crack semi or upon variable, fixed, semi-variable. If you can understand the term, you can easily identify. This logic or a focus one. Clear? Therefore, the cost classification is easy only. Right? So, because nowadays they are framing the question, explain the cost classification based on decision making. You should know what decide pandrom, relevant or irrelevant. Therefore, relevant cost, irrelevant. So, in overhead, we have to identify cost classification is based on relationship, direct and indirect. Overhead represent collection of all indirect expenses are called overhead. What is called overhead? Collection of all indirect expenses. Therefore, in overhead topic, we have to consider only indirect expenses alone. In overhead, we have to consider only one indirect expense. Direct expenses will not form part of overhead. So, overhead table is commonly committed mistake. Direct material, direct labor, or direct expenses will be there. I think that's the posting protocol. It's not correct. Clear? Therefore, you are having what? Primary distribution, allocation and apportionment. With respect to allocation and apportionment, particulars, production department, service department, production department A, B, C, service department X, Y. So, particulars A, B, C, X, Y, and total. In that question, direct material. Direct material for production department, you should write what? Not applicable. Because the direct material, direct cost will not form part of overhead. But with respect to service department, you have to take. Service department, direct cost is applicable. In service department, direct labor or any direct expense applicable. Because what is called service department? The department which is render services to the production department. Therefore, all the expenses of the service departments are indirectly helping you to produce a product. Therefore, all the expenses of the service departments are indirect cost only. Understood? Same thing they may going to ask in MCQ also. Understood? All the expenses of the service departments are only indirect cost. Clear? Are you able to follow or not? For example, direct wages. Production department 5,000. Service department 2,000. How much you have to take in posting?
2,000.
Only 2,000 because service department expense alone is supposed to take. Are you clear or not? Okay? Good. Next. Allocation plus apportionment. You should know allocation represents only for the specific expenses. Apportionment arises only in case of common expenses. Allocation is for specific expenses. Apportionment is for common expenses. That allocation and apportionment, that should be the first step to solve overhead topic. That allocation plus apportionment is properly called primary. Right, you have to write the heading also properly. Otherwise, reduction in mark. Statement of primary distribution. There is not write statement of allocation, statement of apportionment, statement of allocation, apportionment. Otherwise, reduction in half mark will reduce. Balance sheet statement of assets and liability. Or you are going to write statement of balance sheet or balance sheet. That write balance sheet. Assets and liability or name. If you are going to write statement of assets and liability, it shows you are ignorant. Right? You don't know what balance sheet or terminology related. Similarly, if you are going to write statement of allocation and apportionment, okay, in the primary distribution of reduction in mark. That's logic or not? Clear? So you should be careful before you are writing yellow answer heading. Statement of, computation of, or cost sheet, or process costing. Some heading should be there. Otherwise, reduction in mark will be there. Okay, Mani? So, allocation plus apportionment is called primary distribution. Reapportionment is called what? What would be the reapportionment? It's called reapportion. Secondary distribution. Okay? The reapportion is called one secondary distribution. Are you clear or not? Hello? Okay. Next. With respect to secondary distribution, various methods are there for secondary distribution. What are all the methods available? Direct distribution method, step-ladder method, reciprocal method. Yeah? Under reciprocal method, simultaneous equation method, and repeated distribution method. These are all the various methods available. I'll repeat. We are in secondary distribution. What is called secondary distribution? Transferring. Secondary distribution arises only if there is a service department. Whenever service departments are there, a secondary distribution comes into picture. Are you able to follow? Now, whenever you come across service department, you have to transfer the service department expenses to production department. Transferring of service department expenses to the production department is called secondary distribution. Okay. Whenever you come across secondary distribution, we are having methods with respect to reapportion. That is called reapportion. Okay. In the method, direct distribution method, step-ladder method, reciprocal method. Under reciprocal method, simultaneous equation and repeated distribution method. These are all the various methods are there. In examination, they won't specify. Clear? Here Anand, kindly solve the problem by way of reciprocal method and easily can pass the exam. Understood? They won't give any clue. Based on available info, based on the given data, you have to identify the problem is based on direct distribution or step-ladder method or reciprocal method. How to identify? Service department XY, for example, available. Production department ABC, production department. If service department renders services only to the production department, clue for example, okay? Service department X and Y render services to A, B, and C only. Okay? Service department render services only to production department service. Then you have to solve the problem by way of direct distribution method. Clear? Next. One service department renders services to the production department as well as the another service department. Whereas the another service department renders services only to the production department. Then you have to go by way of step-ladder method. Clear? I'll repeat. One service department renders services to the production department as well as the another service department. Whereas the another service department renders services only to production department. Then we have to solve it by way of step-ladder method. If both the service departments are render services to each other, upper reciprocal. Now, service reciprocal. Then we have to solve it by way of reciprocal method. For example, the table last question X and Y represent service department. X render services to A 40%, B some percentage, C and Y. Similarly, Y render services to A, B, C and X. Appa X Y ku service pannirukku, Y has render some services to X. Mutually service pannadanaala, then you have to solve it by way of reciprocal method. Understood logic or not? Under reciprocal method, there are two ways are there to solve the problem. Two things are there. What are they? One is simultaneous equation method. Another one is repeated distribution method. What are they? Simultaneous equation and repeated distribution. Understood logic or not? Clear? Then simultaneous equation, it's a mathematical technique. Repeated, you know what? Table again, loop. Any one of the method you can be the question to apply in examination. Are able to follow or not? There is no need to solve only by way of simultaneous or repeated distribution. It's purely your choice only. Clear? Both the method give the same answer. Simultaneous equation as well as repeated distribution going to give the one same answer. Understood logic or not? Next. The next important point. In general, for the purpose of apportionment, basis we need for the purpose of apportionment. Clear? Rent, how we have to apportion? Based on area in square meter. Electricity, நீங்க தான் எக்ஸாம் எழுத போறீங்க சொல்லுங்க. எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி how you have to
Kilowatt.
apportion? No. Abraham, how you have to apportion the electricity?
Load. Electricity load. Kilowatt.
No. Santana Lakshmi, how you have to apportion?
Machine hours.
Horsepower.
Horsepower, no.
Machine hours.
Any other? Number of light point. Okay. Divya, based on what? Number of light point. Electricity based on number of light point. Power how to apportion? Power தான் horsepower, okay, HP rate or kilowatt hours. Electricity வேற, power வேற. It's a commonly committed mistake. Should be careful. Understood? போய் 6 மாசம் வாங்கிட்டு வந்துடாத. So, power or electricity and careful பார்த்துது. Now, power we have to apportion based on horsepower, HP. Okay? Main horsepower of the particular department is important. மொட்டை horsepower வச்சிருக்காத. Horsepower of department A, department B, department C. Horsepower of the particular department. Sometime in examination, horsepower of the machine will be there. Machine oda horsepower கொடுத்திருப்பான். How many hours machine worked will be there. Therefore, number of hours machine worked multiply with horsepower is equal to total horsepower of the department. So you have to multiply thereafter only out of portion. Understand? I'll repeat once again. With respect to horsepower, power we have to apportion based on horsepower. If horsepower total available, total horsepower of the respective department, then you can use that particular ratio. Department A, B, C in what ratio? Okay, that you can apportion. But some circumstance, horsepower of the machine will be there. How many hours machine worked will be there? Therefore, you have to multiply according to portion. Total portion. Clear? Are you able to follow? We have to derive total horsepower consumption. Are you clear? Then, with respect to apportionment, we need suitable basis for apportion. Rent. What is the suitable basis? I said. In what basis apportion to rent? Area in square meter. For example, area in square meter. Electricity out of portion.
Light point.
Number of light points. Clear? Number of light points. Supervisor salary out of portion. Supervisor salary.
Number of labor.
Number of labor, no. Time spent by the supervisor. How many hours he spent? Time spent by the supervisor. Okay. Depreciation out of portion. Company has a whole depreciation will be there. Out of portion among the department.
Machinery cost.
Value of machinery. Clear? Okay. Miscellaneous expenses out of portion. All portion based miscellaneous expenses. Santana Lakshmi. How to apportion the miscellaneous expenses? So, this is generic cost expenses. All the expenses, they can't give any ratio. In the circumstance, you can apportion based on direct wages, miscellaneous expenses, sundries, indirect wages. All those things you can apportion based on direct wages. Clear? Suppose if it is a mission dependent industry, labor dependent industry, not direct wages you can take. If it is a mission dependent industry, you can apply based on machine hour. Understood? Machine hour also criteria. Depending upon the availability of the information, you have to solve it. Okay? Then, with respect to step ladder method, always better to start with the service department, thereafter production department. In general, every statement போடுவாங்கன்னா particulars, basis of apportionment, production department A, production department B, production department C, service department X, service department Y, and a total போடுவோம் இல்லையா? This is a normal way of preparation of the table. But with respect to step ladder method, step by step reduce pandom. Start with the service department, particulars, basis of apportionment, service department X, service department Y, thereafter production department A, B, C, and the total. So that step by step we can be in the position to apportion the overhead. Clear? Then activity based costing. Now we are moving to ABC. Up to this, are you comfortable? Useful Arkam, Santan Lakshmi, Abraham.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir. Comfortable.
Now, with respect to activity based costing, many of them not even have the concept begin, knowing the concept begin the ABC. AB first one, ABC is not a different method. It's not a different method of costing. It's a different technique to ascertain the cost. Appa methods of costing is the three. Clear? It's a technique where a method where. Methods of costing you may know. Cost sheet, process costing, joint product by product. Clear? So what? Contract costing, clear job costing, batch costing. These are under the service sector costing. These are all methods of costing. But ABC is a different technique to ascertain the cost. Clear? And another one, ABC is an advanced level of, advanced version of overhead. Overhead is advanced version. That is the overhead. Thereafter ABC comes. Okay, in syllabus. So overhead is advanced version. If it is an advanced version for overhead, ABC is applicable only for overhead, nothing but applicable only for indirect expenses alone. Understood? Appa ABC is not applicable for direct expenses. Activity based costing applicable only for indirect expenses. Yena, they ask you to prepare, compute cost per unit or cost of production under traditional absorption system. Also compute cost of production under ABC. Kepana? Appa ABC போடும்போது clear? Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses up to prime cost as it is you can take. Question because ABC is applicable only for indirect expenses. Overhead you have to apportion based on activities, resource consumption. Up to prime cost, traditional absorption costing system and the ABC system remain same. Understood? Because ABC is applicable only for indirect expenses. Are you comfortable or not? Good. Then cost driver rate careful. Cost pool divided by cost driver is equal to cost driver rate. Then with respect to cost sheet, unit costing and the cost sheet, there where and all will commit the mistake. With respect to cost sheet, for finding cost of production, two different opinions are there, school of thoughts are there. With respect to administration overhead, whether administration overhead will form part of cost of production or not.
Administration or directly related to production will only form part of
very good,
cost of production.
So depending upon the circumstance only, just like that. Yeah. So general admin expenses may not form part of cost of production. Specifically incurred for production may be form part of, maybe come part of cost of production. ஒண்ணுமே சொல்லல admin expenses மட்டும் கொடுத்திருக்கான். Then either you can consider or no need to consider. You can give some note. Okay, one note கொடுத்தா போதும். Clear? Therefore, with considering administration overhead, without considering administration overhead, you can be the put to solve the problem with respect to cost of production. Clear? Then again here also to compute profit, total cost sheet porno. You know the format for the cost sheet. Prime cost, factory cost, cost of production, cost of sale, add profit is equal to sale value will come. With respect to profit, percentage of profit on what you have to identify. Clear? 20% on cost or 20% on sales. On what? Just like the percentage of the total cost apply pandada. Don't apply as it is in total cost. On what should be carefully identified. Clear? Then with respect to job costing, job is a unique assignment. It should be for customer to customer basis, client to client basis you have to prepare. And job cost is not a separate method. Very it's an extension of the cost sheet only. You know cost sheet. Same cost sheet you are going to draw for respective customer. How much the cost incurred for that particular assignment is called a job. In same cost sheet, heading and header and footer you are going to change. In heading, instead of cost sheet, you are going to write job cost sheet for the job number what? That number you have to write. Ends with instead of sale value, you have to write job value. Clear? So job costing is an extension of the cost sheet only. But you have to prepare cost sheet for job cost for every job, each and every job separately. Similarly, batch costing is an extension of the economic order, similar to the economic ordering quantity. Whenever I need raw material, how many quantity of raw material I have to purchase per order? That is called economic ordering quantity, EOQ. In factory, I am producing the product. Per batch, how many quantity I have to produce? That is called the economic batch quantity. So EOQ is for raw material input, and economic EBQ, economic batch quantity, is for finished goods. EOQ is for input, EBQ for output. EOQ is for raw material, EBQ is for finished goods. That's logic or not? Clear? Up a similar formula only are going to apply. You know the Wilson's formula, EOQ, square root of 2AO divided by C. Economic batch quantity, square root of 2AS divided by C or IC. A represent annual demand, C represent, that is what? S represent setup cost, and I or CI represent interest portion, carrying cost, interest portion. Understand logic or not? In EBQ, square root of 2 into A into CS for A represent what? Annual demand. Annual demand represent what? Raw material, finished goods.
Raw material.
Finished goods. In economic batch quantity, it's a finished goods. EBQ is for finished goods. Whereas in EOQ, A represent annual demand of the raw material for raw material. Understood? Or input. So you should be careful. Breathe the difference. Exam level confused. Finished goods raw material. Okay, Abraham? Concept padchada, you can clear the examination. Just like that, chuma number vachu clear panna mudiyadhu. Next, contract costing is removed from your syllabus. Okay. Cost accounting system. With respect to cost accounting system, integral and non-integral accounting system. You know golden rules: personal account, real account, and nominal account. In costing, we are having only nominal account. There is no personal and real account. If there is no personal and real account, then double entry concept may going to get affected. That's the reason only, for the purpose of substitution, to substitute personal and real account. Because personal and real account is not there, we are having substitution by way of general ledger adjustment account. The general ledger adjustment account is also called cost ledger adjustment account. Clear? Where and all personal account, real account entries are there, you have to substitute by way of general ledger adjustment account. So that you can double entry accounts. So on general cost ledger. Integral accounting system means what? Combined. Combination of cost accounting and financial accounting are combined together is called integral. Cost accounting records separately, financial accounting records separately mean that is called what? Non-integral. Clear agana? With respect to integral accounting system, cost accounting is also there, financial accounting also there. Therefore, golden rules as per the financial accounting automatically applicable. Therefore, there is no question of general ledger adjustment account. So the general ledger adjustment account applicable arises only in case of non-integral accounting system. The logic or not? This may be the frequently asked question. They may be going to ask in MCQ also. Understood? Good. With respect to Reconciliation. Frequently asked question with respect to cost accounting system is reconciliation. In reconciliation, that reconciliation applicable only for indirect expenses, not for the direct expenses or direct item. Purchase will be there, direct wages will be there, or sales, direct income will be there. Those things and all, there is no need for any reconciliation. Why? Cost, there is a conflict between difference in profit between cost accounting and financial accounting. Am I right? In case of indirect expenses over here, I might have apportioned in different manner, you might have apportioned in different manner. Cost accounting department may go into apportion in different manner, financial accounting may apportion in different manner. That's the reason difference in profit arises. Am I right? But purchase of raw material, cost accounting also same, financial accounting also same. Am I right or not? Because real cash outflow, out of packet cost. Therefore, there should not be any difference between cost accounting and financial accounting. If there is a difference in direct expenses, then it is called fraud. Understood? Therefore, reconciliation applicable only for indirect expenses. புரியுதா கண்ணுங்களா?
ஒரே ஒரு ஸ்மால் டவுட்.
எஸ் கண்ணா.
சார் இந்த क्वेश्चंसல சம்டைம்ஸ் இந்த க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக் அண்டர் வேல்யூட்.
எஸ் கண்ணா. எஸ்.
மட்டும்
yeah, undervaluation, overvaluation. To do the reconciliation, you have to remember the rule கண்ணா. It is always better to start memorandum of reconciliation account instead of statement. இதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணா ஈஸியா முடிச்சிடலாம். memorandum of reconciliation account, debit side, credit side account போறது. Okay, start with the profit as per financial accounting and ends with the profit as per cost accounting. இதை நீ ஃபாலோ பண்ற போது ஈஸியான ரூல். either increase in income இருக்கும், decrease in income இருக்கும். increase in expenses, decrease in expenses, அதான் இருக்க போறது. or omitting income, omitting expenses. Am I right? Few expenses applicable only in financial accounting but not in cost accounting. Few expenses or income applicable only in cost accounting, not financial accounting. Clear? We are going to omit. In this circumstance, the rule in either debit or credit, it should be debited or should be credited. So the rule, increase in income, income increase side, credit side, decrease in income, debit side, increase in expenses, which side? Expense increase control, debit side, decrease in expenses, credit side. Clear? Then omitting income already credit la irundhukum, omit pannu enna pannu, rectification, debit side. Omitting expenses, credit side. That's all, automatically tally aadum. Now closing stock, undervaluation of closing stock. Closing stock is income side item, expense side item. Income side la varudhu. Under na kuraidha koodudha, reduction. Appo reduction in income, which side aadu pothum? Debit side. Overvaluation of opening stock, in the side ponnu. Opening stock is income or expenses side? Expenses. Over mean increase or decrease?
Increase.
Appo increase in expenses, which side? Debit side. That's all, automatically tally. Understand logic or not? Clear? The chinna rule, increase or decrease or income or expense, that's all. Everything will go over. Clear? Good.
Okay sir. Super.
What about next, process costing. Where we have the, where and all we may have the chance to commit the mistake in process costing. Shall we start? Now, you know, with respect to equivalent production, in process costing itself, first you should know 3 different segments are there in process costing. What are all the 3 segments? You should be thorough. Mere preparation of process account, that is process 1 account, 2 account, 3 account. Second one, equivalent production method, and third one, inter-process profit. For 3 segment you should be thorough with respect to process costing before you go for examination. Clear? What are the first one? Mere preparation of process account, easy, like similar to BCom syllabus only. Right? In general, mere preparation of process account, they are not asking. Rarely they may ask with the reverse working. Okay, because of the easy. Next, irrespective of that, whether first segment or second segment or third segment, They ask you to prepare process account. Question same da. Clear? They ask you find prepare process account get wrong. In the examination, you will get the doubt. It's in the first segment, second segment, third segment. Right? Money can the doubt because moon segment இருக்குன்னு தெரியாது. So, if you know all the three segments, then only you get the confusion. It comes under the which segment, right or not? So, listen here. Whenever WAP given in this question, if there is a WAP in this question, then we have to solve the problem by way of equivalent production. WAP இருந்தால்தான் equivalent production applicable. If there is no WAP, then we have to solve it by way of the first one, mere preparation of process. Okay, Lakshmi, புரியுதா?
Yes, sir.
Next. But WAP irkan par. If the WAP is there, you have to solve it by way of equivalent production. Okay, sir, we identified equivalent production. So, if there is no WAP, mere preparation of process on first segment, with the WAP mean equivalent production. In equivalent production, another classification. FIFO method is there and weighted average method is there. How to identify? The problem should be solved by way of FIFO method or weighted average. The problem should be solved in FIFO method. Then, degree of completion for the opening WAP should be given in this question. Degree of completion for opening WAP should be given in this question. The degree of completion for the opening WAP is given, then you have to solve the problem only by way of FIFO method. If the degree of completion for the opening WAP is not given in this question, we can solve only by way of weighted average method. Understand logic or not? Degree of completion for opening WAP kuduklena, you can solve only by way of weighted average. FIFO method not possible at all. Degree of completion for the opening WAP is given, you have to solve it by way of FIFO method. Understand logic or not? Now, with respect to degree of completion, always remember output transfer to next process. Degree of completion for the output transfer to next process is always 100%. If it is called output, it should be 100%. Understand logic or not? Hello. Next, degree of completion for the normal is not applicable. Okay, degree of completion for normal loss always not applicable. Degree of completion for the abnormal loss, in general 100%. But if degree of completion for the unit scrapped given in this question, unit scrapped kuduthirundal, then you have to make use of that percentage only. If nothing is given, abnormal loss degree of completion 100%. If degree of completion for the unit scrapped given in this question, then you have to make use of that particular percentage only. Understood, Abraham? Another important one. Always remember degree of completion for the abnormal gain always 100%. If it is called abnormal gain, material over, labor over, overhead over. Illa kudutha abnormal gain over. Clear? Therefore, degree of completion for the abnormal gain is always 100%. And degree of completion for the closing WAP should be given in this question. Always question here. Closing WAP percentage should be given in this question. WAP unfinished goods. Yeah, we can't predict 80% complete, 20% complete and so on there. Even 1% completed also WAP. 99.99% complete on WAP. Therefore, it should be given in the question itself. Clear? With respect to FIFO method, the output transfer to next process you have to segregate into first in, first out. Opening WAP quantity you have to take and balance is out of current processing. For opening WAP, you have to apply the remaining percentage only. Whereas current process input become output, always 100%. So these are all the things you are supposed to do. Are happy?
Sure.
Next, joint product and byproduct costing. You know, with respect to joint and byproduct, the methods of apportionment is a frequently asked question. What are the various ways are that apportion the joint part? That is direct theory question also. What are they? Physical unit method, average unit cost method, technical point or technical evaluation method, contribution margin method, market value method. Under market value method, market value at a split off point, market value after further processing, and NRV method. These are all the various methods are there. I'll repeat: physical unit method, average unit cost method, technical point or technical evaluation method, contribution margin method, market value method. Under market value method, market value at a split off point, market value after further processing, and NRV. These are all the various methods. So in examination, they won't specify the question is based on which method. If it is directly given, easy for you to solve, right? So many occasions you have to identify which method is possible, applicable. You have to identify. Depending upon the availability of the info, we have to identify the problem should be solved by way of which method. If nothing is given, it is advisable, more appropriate method. It is advisable to apportion based on NRV method, net realizable value. Then, if selling price at split off point given in this question, then we have to make use of this order. Split off point, we have to apportion the joint cost based on sales revenue, market value at split off point method. Because selling price at split off, sales value at split off point method. Because sales value at split off point only given only for the purpose of apportionment. There is no other use at all. Suppose variable cost and fixed cost bifurcation given in this question, then you have to solve it by way of contribution margin method. Because sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution minus fixed cost is equal to profit. Variable joint cost, total joint variable cost, you have to apportion based on quantity. Whereas joint cost, fixed joint cost, you have to apportion based on contribution. That's logic or not? So the contribution margin method is a criteria. Clear? Next one. What next? Then, while apportioning the fixed cost in contribution margin method, variable cost based on sales quantity or production quantity, number of units criteria, easy. Sales minus variable cost apportioned to joint cost is equal to contribution. Contribution of the product A, assume 10,000. Contribution for the product B, assume 5,000. 5,000 negative. Contribution of the product A, 10,000 profits. Contribution of the product B, 5,000 negative. And a common fixed cost is there, 2,000. Every apportionment. How much is for A and how much is for B? I'll repeat once again. Contribution for A, 10,000 positive. Contribution of the B, 5,000 negative. Joint cost, fixed cost is 2,000. How to apportion between A and B?
Absolute, sir. 2:1.
Huh?
Absolute, sir.
Sound.
Absolute, sir. 2:1.
2:1. Okay. 10,000, 10:5. Any other answer? Sai Divya, text of the Panam, Pesamadilana, Abraham, Santana, Lakshmi, Money, third portion. Once the loss comes, the profit recall of law portion. Therefore, the entire 2,000 you have to apportion for A itself. B apply because already it's in loss. Understand logic? So these are all the commonly committed mistakes with respect to joint product and byproduct. Be careful. 6 மாசம் தான் ரிசல்ட் முக்கியம் பிகிலு 6 மாசம் போயிடும்.
திகார் சொல்ற மாதிரி இருக்கு சார். திகார் சொல்ற மாதிரி இருக்கு சார்.
இல்ல
வருஷம் 6
கப்பு முக்கியம் பிகிலுங்கிற மாதிரி ரிசல்ட் முக்கியம் தான் 6 மாசம் தான் மண்டபத்திரம் 6 மாசம் போயிட போகுது. நெக்ஸ்ட் சர்வீஸ் செக்டார் காஸ்டிங். ஓகே, now even in service sector costing we have to identify the profit என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? What about the profit percentage? 10% on profit on takings or cost. We have to identify. Takings nothing but what? Total revenue. The sales revenue is takings. How much the takings out of the business. Okay. So whether they are percentage you have to apply on profit or percentage of profit you have to apply on total cost or total sales you have to be identifying. Next. Whether cost per passenger fare per passenger kilometer or fare per trip. மூணு விஷயம் இருக்குதா? This is not only they are asking different matter they framing the question. என்ன கேட்பான்? either cost per passenger kilometer or fare per passenger kilometer or fare per trip. Cost per passenger kilometer means excluding profit. Right? Cost மட்டும் எடுக்கணும். Total operating cost divided by passenger kilometer. Number of passenger kilometers is equal to cost per passenger kilometer. Fare per passenger kilometer means including profit. Understood? Operating cost plus profit is equal to fare divided by number of passenger kilometers is equal to fare per passenger kilometer. Are you able to follow? Fare is different, cost is different. What is the last one? Fare per trip. Fare per trip ங்கிறது ஒரு full trip. Clear? Not one passenger, 1 kilometer. ஒரு trip as a whole. Or easy to understand. Suppose you are going to Mysore. It's a tourist place for it. In hotel they'll ask, sir, trip போறீங்களா sir? One round trip. Morning 6 o'clock van will be ready sir, or 7 o'clock van will be ready. Clear? அப்போ full nightக்குள்ள எல்லாம் சுத்தி பார்த்து அடிச்சுட்டு திரும்ப கொண்டு விட்டுருவோம். Evening or night they'll drop you. அப்போ if you are going to what? Cash that van. எல்லா இடமும் சுத்தி காமிப்போம். All the place that you can visit. Thereafter you can come back again to what? Your place. அப்போ ஒரு ட்ரிப்புக்கு எவ்வளவுன்னு கேட்போம். Not 1 kilometer or one particular place. Understand? So the full trip போயிட்டு வரதுக்கு. அப்போ it may be cost per passenger kilometer, fare per passenger kilometer, fare per trip. Accordingly denominator மாறும், numerator careful பார்க்கணும். Are you able to follow? Good. Then composite unit is the next important segment with respect to service sector. Composite and more than one is called the composite. Appa passenger should be there, kilometer should be there. Then only one unit ஆகும். I can't the person to say one unit separately. Passenger kilometer, ton kilometer is called one unit. இல்லையா? அப்ப that is a component is called composite unit. With respect to composite unit, two elements are there you have to compute. One is called absolute ton kilometer and one is called commercial ton kilometer. The very frequently asked question. Absolute ton and commercial ton. Ton into kilometer is equal to ton kilometer. Absolutely you have to compute A to B is how much, B to C is how much, C to A is how much. That is called absolute ton kilometer. Commercial ton kilometer, average ton into total kilometer is equal to commercial ton kilometer. Ton alla average பண்ணு multiply the total kilometer is equal to average the commercial ton kilometer. Number of passengers into number of kilometers is equal to passenger kilometer. Passenger into kilometer is equal to passenger kilometer. Clear? Number of passenger எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்? Same formula you can use. Capacity is how much into percentage of occupancy is how much is equal to number of passengers. How much percent occupied? Total number of seats capacity 100 seats are there. Out of which average basis 60% occupancy na 100 into 60 is equal to 60% is equal to number of passengers. Number of kilometers go by the same way. How many buses are there into how many kilometers into how many ways into how many trips into how many days into number of installments is equal to per annum number of kilometers. In exam you should not write 1 into 2 into 5 into 1 bus into okay 2 ways into or 5 kilometers into 20 kilometers into you have to write, you have to quantify properly. Understood? 1 2 5 லாம் போட்டு வைக்க கூடாது. Okay, so the same order if you can remember we won't commit any mistake at all with respect to number of passengers and number of kilometers. Okay. You can compute either by way of operating statement per month basis also or per annum basis also uniformly. Irrespective of per month or per annum, you will get the same answer. Because numerator also per month, denominator also per month. Total operating costs or fare also per month, total taking also per month, and the number of passenger kilometer also per month. Therefore, we will get what? Same answer only. Clear? These are all the important tips you supposed to remember with respect to service sector costing. Are you happy? Marginal costing. What are all the things you have to remember? Where and all you will commit a mistake. With respect to marginal costing, in BEP, profit is equal to 0, you have to remember. No profit, no loss situation, because many occasions you have to compute reverse working. Sales minus variable cost equal to contribution minus fixed cost equal to profit. The profit is 0 means what would the sale? That level is called break even. But in case of margin of safety, fixed cost is equal to 0. There is no fixed cost. Because over and above BEP only called the margin of safety. All the fixed cost has been recovered in BEP itself. Therefore, in margin of safety will incur only variable cost. There is no fixed cost. Therefore, in MOS, fixed cost is equal to 0. In BEP, since profit is equal to 0, contribution itself is equal to fixed cost. So, contribution minus fixed cost is equal to 0 profit mean. In BEP, contribution is equal to fixed cost. Whereas in margin of safety, contribution is itself is equal to profit. In MOS, contribution is equal to what? Profit. Because fixed cost is 0. Understood? Variable cost per unit always remain constant. Same manner, total fixed cost remain constant. These are the assumptions for solving break-even point or marginal costing problem. Clear? Per unit variable cost going to vary. Okay? Per unit fixed cost going to vary. Always remember, fixed cost total remain constant, per unit vary on. Whereas variable cost per unit remain constant, total vary. Clear? In examination, they ask per unit basis. Change in variable cost and fixed cost. So, which is per unit cost remain constant means that is called variable cost. Per unit cost different or that is called fixed cost based on the volume of production. Clear? Then, sometimes fixed cost for the first half year or first quarter. Then total fixed cost if you want to take mean, first half year fixed cost 5,000 mean, total fixed cost should be 5,000 plus 5,000 is equal to 10,000, 2 half years. Don't say fixed cost remain constant. Half yearly fixed cost, the 5,000 remain constant, total not remain constant. Does logic or not? Clear? Similarly, they'll ask in quarter wise also. If the BEP balance is equal to margin of safety, the BEP is equal to 60% means margin of safety should be remaining 40% is equal to margin of safety. Same manner, variable cost balance is equal to contribution. Variable cost 60% given in this question means then balance is equal to contribution 40%. PV ratio 40% means 60% is equal to variable cost. Easy or not? These are all the things he's supposed to remember to solve marginal costing. Okay? Are you with me or not? And you know various formula. PEP formula, fixed cost by contribution per unit or fixed cost by PV ratio. Margin of safety formula, profit by PV ratio or profit by contribution per unit. Clear? Desired sales formula, fixed cost plus desired profit by PV ratio. Fixed cost plus desired profit by contribution per unit. எல்லாத்துலயும் பார்த்தோம்னா PV ratio denominator or contribution per unit denominator. Whenever contribution per unit is a denominator, answer in terms of quantity. PEP quantity கிடைக்கும் or margin of safety quantity or desired sales quantity or shutdown point quantity, clear, or indifference point quantity, you will get quantitative answer. Whenever denominator is a PV ratio, answer in terms of value. This logic or not? Break even sales value, margin of safety value, indifferent point sales value. Okay? Shutdown point sales value, you will get value. Now PV ratio answer in terms of value. Answer in quantity. Understand? Then, if there is a change in selling price, variable cost per unit will not going to get affected. Variable cost remain constant. Because variable cost vary only if there is a change in quantity, not in selling price. Clear? So, whenever you are going to test the formula, PEP or margin of safety while solving the problem, Always verify என்ன கேட்டிருக்கான், வால்யூம் கேட்டிருக்கானா, வேல்யூ கேட்டிருக்கானா, குவான்டிட்டேட்டிவ் இன்ஃபோ ஆர் வேல்யூ பேஸ்ட் இன்ஃபோ. ஃபைண்ட் பிஇபி குவான்டிட்டி. அப்ப ஃபிக்ஸட் காஸ்ட் பை பிவி ரேஷியோ போடக்கூடாது. குவான்டிட்டி கேட்டா பிஇபி ஃபிக்ஸட் காஸ்ட் பை கான்ட்ரிபியூஷன் பர் யூனிட். So the requirement in terms of quantity or requirement in terms of value, you have to be careful. Understood? Next, with respect to budgetary control, if you remember the format, that is sufficient. So you should be very careful with respect to format. Purchase budget or production budget or sales budget, you have to remember the format. Okay. Production budget, what is the format? Sales plus closing stock minus opening stock is equal to production. Whereas purchase budget, raw material consumption add closing stock less opening stock is equal to raw material consumption. Here commonly committed mistake, production budget also sales plus closing stock minus opening stock. Raw material purchase budget also raw material consumption add closing stock less opening stock. But here also opening to closing stock is there. There also opening to closing stock is there. But in case of production, closing stock, opening stock represent finished goods. Whereas raw material purchase, opening to closing stock represent raw material. One is input, another one is output. Don't get the confusion. The logic or not? Clear? You have to, because in examination, in question paper, raw material data also will be there. Finished goods data also will be there. Clear? The opening to closing stock in Papa, whether it's raw material or finished goods, you have to be very careful. Clear? So production budget, you have to take finished goods info, whereas purchase budget, you have to take raw material info. Input is different, output is different. Are you able to follow or not? Then raw material consumption budget, you have to add raw material wise totals. Few of them adding raw material X and Y total. X and Y raw material 2 total, there is no use. Raw material X total and Y total. X raw material wise, you have to make it total. Then only it has some sense. Understood? Then labor hour requirement budget. We need a labor hour for the purpose of producing the product. Therefore, without computing production budget, you can't put to start labor hour requirement. The production budget may be the starting point for the various budgets. These are the small element. You should be careful. Are you with me? Next, your favorite topic, standard costing. Whenever you are going to solve the problem standard costing, you have to remember these rules. 2 rules in a pochuko. One is identification of variance and to draw the respective chart. After reading the question, the problem is material, labor, identification of variance. Material cost variance can be classified into price variance, usage variance. Usage variance again classified into mix and yield variance. Formula 1 minus 2, 1 minus 3, 1 minus 4, 4 minus 3, 3 minus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 represent standard quantity standard price, actual quantity actual price, actual quantity standard price, revised actual quantity standard price, the same model. So rule number 1, you should be careful. Rule number 2, filling the blanks. The format edit, where is actual quantity, how to identify standard quantity, how to identify revised actual quantity, standard price, actual price. If you do the filling the blanks, you can have a better control. So whenever you come across standard costing, remember the 2 rules: identification of variance under the other respective chart and filling the blanks. Read them. Revised actual quantity represent revising the actual quantity in standard proportion is called revised actual quantity. Total actual quantity add paniko, that we have to apportion among the raw material based on standard mix. What about the standard mix? In that ratio out of apportion. So revising the actual quantity in standard proportion is called revised actual quantity. Always students used to commit the mistake only in standard quantity, computation of standard quantity. Remember one thing, the word standard always ends with the actual production. The word standard always ends with one actual production. Based on finished goods only, standard comes into picture. The expected quantity of raw material required for actual production is called standard. The expected quantity of raw material represent input, actual production represent one output. The input-output relationship is called one standard. The standard quantity right up standard costing problem right now, because majority of students are committing mistake only in computation of standard quantity. Understand? Then material mix and yield variance arises only in case of more than one material. If only one cadre of material only is given in this question, mix and yield subclassification won't come into picture. Material cost variance, price and usage variance, that's all. More than one material, raw material A, B, C, more than one material. Then material cost variance, price, usage again classified into mix and yield variance. Mix and yield variance arises only in case of more than one cadre of material, so that you can save your time in the exam. Similarly, for labor also, mix and revise sub-efficiency applicable only in case of more than one cadre of labor. Skilled labor, unskilled labor, semi-skilled labor, mix and sub-efficiency will come. Else, only one labor means labor cost variance, rate and efficiency variance. That's all. Okay. Similarly, calendar variance arises only in case of number of days given in this question. Number of days kudutundha calendar variance. Calendar na dates irukonu illaya. So budgeted days and actual days informations are there in this question. We can solve the problem by way of calendar variance. Else without calendar variance. That's logic or not? Gang variance represent labor mix variance. Gang. Gang is a group of people. But labor mix variance is also called gang variance. Clear? Here also you have to be careful. Standard rate represents rate per hour or rate per unit. If I am going to multiply with the hours, then it is called rate per hour. Standard hours into standard rate. So standard hours all multiply then standard rate represents rate per hour. Clear? Whereas actual output into standard rate. Upper standard rate we are multiplying with the actual output. Therefore, it's a rate per unit. So rate per hour or rate per unit, you should be careful. Understood? Because rate per hour is different and rate per unit is different. So these are all the elements is supposed to remember with respect to one, standard rate and standard hour. Idle time theory, unproductive time. Whenever you come across idle time, it is always advisable to prepare separately. Formula for idle time variance is actual idle time into standard rate. Always idle time variance is adverse. The idle time variance where you have to par because of idle time efficiency will get affected. Therefore, we have to classify it for variance and the revised efficiency variance. The revised efficiency variance is a balancing figure. These are all the things you have to remember with respect to idle time variance. Clear? So enjoy where and all will commit the mistake or whatever wrong.
Yes, sir.
Hello. So before we go for example, kindly close the mistake. Should not the mistake. Clear? Where will the mistake? Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best for your examination. Okay.
Sir, 10:30.
Yeah, we'll meet again. Yes.